So far, so good. It's just getting started. I mean, I got in yesterday, and we had a couple of parties to attend, the Sharknado 2 and a few things. That was fun. That was fun. Did some karaoke. Not personally. We just got to make fun of our people do karaoke. Today is the big stuff, the mayhem. Here we go.
Now, with your character in season one, did you know all the twists and turns in the beginning that your character was going to take, or you were shocked, like when you got the different scripts down the line?
Different scripts just kept coming at us, and it was like Christmas Day. You know, you have to figure out what you're gonna do, who you're gonna maybe my character, who am I gonna kill today, which girl am I gonna make out with. It was just it was a very interesting process. You know, I thought going into this that maybe we would get 5-6 episodes, we get to read all this stuff, have an idea of our arc, but the way it goes in television these days is there's a lot of writing as it goes, and it was kind of neat because it kept us all on our toes. You know, we were excited to see what was coming.
You were an excellent, in an excellent position to be enjoyable, but I also hated you a lot.
Thank you.
It's a compliment. It's a compliment.
Yes,
it's
yes,
a compliment.
yes. No,
So,
I appreciate that. Yeah.
But how difficult is that for you to kind of have this really villainous, but also kind of not borderline, not villainous character? Like, how hard is that for you to carry on?
That's the thing is anyone can play a bad guy on paper who's obviously written as a bad person, but I think the trick is to put some humanity, to put some heart into this character and realize that he's not just doing it for the money or just to advance his career or because someone told him to, and like Constance Sutton, who was his boss, and he was her whipping boy. Like, it wasn't just for those purposes. If he was just doing everything because of that motivation, it would just seem very flat and very unfortunate, I think, from a character standpoint and for an actor to play. So I had to be able to add some of his backstory, where he came from, who he was, and what he really wanted out of life. I mean, I think once he realized in season one that all of this was getting way out of control and this was not what he wanted to be a part of, I don't think he planned to destroy half the population with this virus. I think he didn't realize what he was getting into until it was too late, and he pulled the plug because he wanted to help some people and help on his village, you know. And that was a good turning point for him.
Do you know how involved you're going to be in season 2? I mean, the changes, obviously outside of the station.
Yeah, I can't talk too much about that. Obviously, I do know my involvement for season 2, and
you are fairly involved.
Yes, it's going to be exciting. It's obviously the way we left season 1, there's a fair amount of mystery. Who's coming back, who isn't. I mean, there's still a lot of characters that are up in the air that may or may not return. It's a completely different setting. It's a completely different place now, and so now we've got to work within those constraints. I mean, last year we had an Arctic base where there wasn't a lot of people coming in and out when they could, but it was not like we had tons of character directions to go with and new people to introduce. Season 2 is going to be similar. I mean, there's going to be there's got to be an air of claustrophobia with the environment like there was in season 1. I mean, that base was pretty scary. I mean, even the location we actually shot at was pretty creepy. You walked in and you go, okay, I'm here, and this is weird. Season 2 is going to be the same. So it's a juggling act with the writers trying to figure out how to fit the characters into the story again for season 2, so that it makes sense, so that it's interesting, so that it's exciting for the audience.
What was your initial reaction when you read the Doreen death scene, or how that would go down?
I knew that based on notes and talks with Catherine Lemieux, who played Doreen, I knew how she had a limited number of episodes already. I knew that there was going to be a certain amount of episodes, so I knew at some point she was going to die. I didn't know, or be removed somehow. I didn't know that it was going to be me. And when I read it, it was total mixed feelings. I mean, like, it was exciting to do that scene with her because I really respect her as an actress, and we had a lot of fun. We learned together on the show on season 1. We got to do a lot of things together that were firsts for both of our careers, and I felt sadness for losing her on the show, and which translated in my character's reaction to doing that, and I just used it, and I think it was something that played well. I mean, Sergio began to like Doreen. Even though she figured out too much and he had to get rid of her to save whatever his mission, he didn't really want to, as you could tell, I think, in that scene. And that was, for me, was one of the most precious scenes for me to film in the whole season.
what was your favorite episode in season 1 that you feel really showed off your acting skills and you really like, if you can put your finger on it, it's the best one that you did?
That scene with Doreen, that episode where I had to talk about that I said I was from the Pentagon, and there was a black bag operation and all this stuff, and we had this big discussion in one of the labs. That was one of my favorite scenes. My favorite episode, as far as if you're asking about my work and what I liked as a character, was the finale, was episode 13, when I'm in that room with Blake. And I take the gun from her and I beat her and then I shoot her, and then everybody comes in the room and they're all guns. All these scientists, guns drawn, who don't really have the skill set that Balleseros had. And I, as an actor, got to say, okay, here's my chance to step up in the season and put all these scientists in their place as Balleseros and finally get what I want. Because I spent a lot of the episodes getting beat up by girls, getting stabbed, getting thrown against the wall by Miguan, getting beat up by Billy, and then ended up beating him up. I was like a pinball machine, like I was the pinball going around for a lot of the season. And this scene, episode 13, was my way of saying, like, no, enough's enough. So that was, for me, was the favorite part.
And since you were kind of finding out what was happening to your character as you went along, did you always think, okay, well, this next script is surely where I die? Am I going to make it to the end of the season?
I gotta tell you, I had a major panic around episode 5 when I smashed Miguan in the face with a pipe. I beat up Billy and cut him loose and leave him for dead. All this stuff happens. And I started reading the episodes, and I was reading episode 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm killing these people. I'm burning these monkeys. I'm killing Doreen. Fans on Twitter freak out. That kind of stuff happens, and I'm like, dude, if I don't start being nice somehow, this is sci-fi. I'm not an idiot. I'm dying. So I freaked out a little bit, and I was like, oh, please, next page. Oh, okay, there's a bit of romance brewing with Anana. Okay, maybe. Okay, there's charm there. They're happening. There's some chemistry. Okay, maybe they're going to keep me around for a bit longer. How long is Anana signed on for? Okay, phew. Like, Luciana, she's going to be around for this. Okay, maybe. Okay, so it was really, like, thank God I got to stick around. Sci-fi, with Game of Thrones these days, nobody's safe. So, yeah, I was very fortunate that I got to stick around. And I heard rumors that original plans for Sergio was not to make it out of season 1. That changed, thankfully. Knock on wood for season 2. So, yeah, I guess we'll have to see what the rest is.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.